Is finished. Thank you.
First, I just wanted to thank you for having me here today, senators and representatives. It's truly an honor. My name is Darren Laustsen. I'm a parent of 2 young girls, and we live in Upper Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Our local high school has had a 15-year tradition celebrating the freedom to read during Banned Book Week. Or should I say, we had that tradition. Last year, it all ended abruptly. Halfway through Banned Book Week in 2022, the high school librarians were instructed by the administration to take down the posters, the book display, and stop the festivities. Banned Book Week was banned in our school district. It was an eerie foreshadowing of the events to come. On September 27, 2022, the Penridge School Board adopted a new library policy written by Harrisburg lobbyists from the PA Family Council. That evening, our board members insisted that we needed them to protect our kids from books. They claimed that smut, filth, and pornography existed in our school libraries. I kid you not, these are the exact words they used to describe library books. What was never mentioned that night was specifically which X-rated titles the school board was referring to. Nonetheless, the situation was apparently dire enough to justify pushing through a policy ahead of schedule. Around that same time, books started disappearing from our high school library shelves. The public was not even notified about what was happening. It involved all the same titles being targeted across the nation by groups like Moms for Liberty. It started with 9 copies of Looking for Alaska, and then all 3 copies of Soul by Patricia McCormick, then Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson, then The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chabotsky, Out of Darkness by Ashley Perez, The Haters by Jesse Andrews, Push by Sapphire, and even Beloved by Toni Morrison. This is a Pulitzer Prize-winning book by a Nobel Prize-winning author. Apparently, this was the porn our school board needed to ban. Award-winning books that have been in the school library for 5, 10, 20, even 30 years. The same books we used to celebrate every single year during Banned Book Week. But now they're a problem? Now they're hurting our kids? Why? What happened? At the end of the school year, every single copy of these titles and more were listed under the obsolete items section of the school board meeting agenda, discreetly voted out the back door without pomp, circumstance, or even due process. Perhaps the craziest part of this whole episode was the complete lack of transparency. Parents were never given any warning. The public was never even told which titles were at risk of being banned. Dozens of parents emailed the district throughout the 2022-2023 school year asking for the names of the titles pulled for review. No answers were ever provided. In fact, Penridge spent large amounts of taxpayer money on attorneys to fight right-to-know requests that parents submitted seeking that very information. And the result? There was no time for parents to read the books for themselves and draw our own conclusions. No chance to say, hey, stop, what are you doing? These books are not pornography. No opportunity to defend the First Amendment rights of our own kids. It was all done under the banner of parental rights. It is so hard to swallow that irony. My oldest child is only in 3rd grade, and people always ask me, why do you even care about this book banning thing in the high school libraries anyway? The answer is simple, because I care about her future. I've read enough history to understand that book banning leads to other really bad ideas. And let's be clear, this has not stopped at our school libraries. As groups have been successful in their efforts to limit access to books in schools, they have been emboldened to try out the same tactics on our local public library. In nearby Telford Borough, certain councilmen are insisting that the Indian Valley Public Library remove LGBTQ books from their collection at the threat of pulling their funding. Again, under the false flag of protecting children. It is a bad path that I don't want to see our country take. I ask lawmakers to do what they can to put an end to this attack on our libraries. How many times do we need to relearn the same lesson? My oldest daughter has a thirst for knowledge. She's an avid reader. Her favorite genre is realistic fiction. Thanks to her wonderful teacher, she reads well above her grade level. She enjoys reading about difficult topics. She wants to better understand the world, the good, the bad, and the ugly. She reads, we talk, she asks questions. That is a healthy instinct that I, as her dad, would like to continue to foster into her high school years. But most importantly, I want to be the adult who parents what she reads, not some self-proclaimed moralist politicians. I think about the type of student that would walk into a high school library in today's age with all the technology, phones, TikTok, video games, and other distractions looking for a book to read. What kind of young adult would pull Sold off the shelf, read the jacket, and then check it out? It's clear from the cover of this book what it's about. It addresses the very difficult topic of trafficking of children in India. I've read this book myself. It is the farthest thing from pornography that you can ever imagine. In fact, if this is your idea of pornography, you are sick. It is a story about hope, perseverance, survival under the worst possible circumstances. It shows the immense strength of the human spirit, but at the same time, as you can imagine, it is difficult to read. It takes a special type of young adult to want to tackle this book, a student who wants to understand the good, the bad, the ugly of this world, the type of person who refuses to walk through life with their head buried in the sand, the type of young adult who might be inspired to grow up and confront the real evil in this world. That evil is not books. Please protect the freedom to read. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Darren. And we'll turn over to Kate, and then we'll go to questions when she's finished. Thank you. Go ahead, Kate.